Hey, it's Charles, and I'm back again. I hate when I say that. Anyways, I'm here, and I'm recording, and I'm making a new episode. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while, and I'm not going to explain why I haven't posted because I know how this thing works, and the truth is nobody cares. Nobody really even cares. Have you ever been in a situation where you're talking to somebody and they're saying things like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that," or, I hope you feel better, or they're like, "Get better soon," like if you're sick or whatever, and they're making all these comments, but there's something in your mind that's just like, okay, I think that's 100% fake. Like you're just saying it to say it, not because you mean it. And then you're sick and you go back to work and they go, "Oh, are you feeling better?" And it's like, "Well, what do you think? I'm here back at work." I mean, why do we are you feeling better now? And then I don't know if they're not really asking because they care. I think maybe they're asking because they think you lied and you called in sick to go like to the beach or whatever. And so now when they ask you, "Are you feeling better?" they're trying to like guilt you because they don't want you to like take days off, They don't want you to lie about taking days off. What if I just need a day off? Can I just say, "Give me the day off, please. Need a day off, please. Need another day. Friday or Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Just need a day off, please. Do I need to show you a doctor's note? Do I need to show the doctor I went to the doctor?" What is this? Like elementary school? "Oh, you can't just miss a day of school without a proof that you visited a doctor." Anyways, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there. I think I got a little bit out of control, but today's Saturday. Today's been a good day. What did I do today? I washed my car. I cleaned up poop. I went over there, and what did I do? No, I'm just kidding. I was trying to make that rhyme, but it didn't really work. Went out, hung out with my wife, had some lunch, played some video games with my older son, watched a TV show with my other son, and then let's see, I washed the car. My daughter helped me. That's cool. And she's like, "Can I wet the top?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, you can wet the top." And she was like, "Can I do it like this?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, you can do it like this." And but then I was like, "Don't do that though. Don't." And I'm always like, "Follow me." Like we're gonna go around in the circle because like that's how my dad always taught me. Like I go first, you follow me. And then she was like, "Well, why do you do it like that?" And I'm like, "Because that's how my dad taught me." "Why do you do it like that? Why do you when you put your shoes on, do you usually put like your left one on first and then your right one? Or do you usually put your right one on and then your left? And then do you always do it in the same way?" Like, I think it's funny how there's certain things that we do and we always do it that way. Because that's just the way we learned. I mean, have you ever heard of the story how, the mom was cooking a ham and she would always cut like the left side and the right side. She would cut both ends before she cooked the ham. And then one time her daughter was like, "Why do you cut both sides of the ham before you cook it?" Don't worry about that. It was just a message. And so her daughter asked her, and so she's like, "I don't know. I think that's how my mom always did it." So I went to my mom and I was like, "Hey mom, little Lindsay asked me why I cut both sides of the ham." And so I thought, well, let me ask you, because that's how you do it. And she goes, "Yeah, I don't know. My mom always did it like that." So then she went to her grandma, and her grandma's like, "Well, we cut both sides of the ham because we only had a pan that was so big we couldn't fit the ham in it. So that's why we had to cut it." So the moral of the story is What is the moral of the story? Oh, I guess don't always just I guess it's just good to know like why you're doing what you're doing. I mean, I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but don't just like maybe ask more questions. Like the kid, like the kid the kid was like, "Why do you do that?" And so maybe we need to ask more questions. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's all just pointless. Maybe this whole podcast is just yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, that's what I meant. I went back and listened to some of my earlier episodes and I was like, what am I saying? What am I doing in this episode? And I was like, oh, I felt like I just want to like punch myself in the face. But I didn't. It was just an expression. And but just like the way I was talking and stuff, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, ew, brother, ew. Ew, brother, ew. I said it to my daughter and she's like, no one says that anymore. No one says that. And I'm like, so what do they say at school? And she's like, oh, well, they used to say 6'7", and now they say scuba. I'm like, what's scuba? And she's like, oh, you like put your hand on your nose and mouth and you wave your other hand like this. And I'm just like, what is wrong with our generation, man? There's so many trends, and hey, did you see the trend where they took Pringles and they added a bunch of chocolate inside the Pringle can and then they put it in like the fridge overnight and then it becomes like this big block of like chocolate Pringles? I mean, I don't know. I wonder how that, I didn't do it because I don't really buy Pringles and I don't just do things that I see on social media, but I was kind of interested I wonder how that would actually taste. Anyways, what else that I was going to say? What else was going to say on this episode? Oh, so here's a story. Okay, so here we go. True story. I was at a grocery store. I know. I talk a lot about grocery stores. I was at a grocery store. I see this lady that I worked with before. I recognized her, and I'm like, wait a minute. I think that's so-and-so. I think her name was Sarah. And I was like, and so I have this bad habit of like, whenever I see somebody in that situation, I always say something. But like I said, it's a bad habit. So I went to her and I was like, hey, we work together at Blue Cross. And I was like, and she's like, oh, hey. And I knew right away she didn't remember me just by the way that she said, oh, hey. And I was like, oh, your name's Sarah. And she was like, yeah. And then she was kind of like bothered because I remembered her name, but she didn't remember my name. And like, I wasn't bothered. I didn't care. And I was like, oh yeah, we worked together on this project or whatever, this, that, and that. And she was like, oh yeah. So then I was like, oh, that's crazy. I'm like, oh, cause it was kind of that job was somewhat of a distance away from my house. And so then I asked a very dumb question. I go, oh, so you must live in this area. Then so I was like, where do you live? Why did I ask that? And she kind of, her eyes kind of get big and she goes, oh, well, just around. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. So I was like, look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ask where you live. I was just like kind of thinking, where do you live? But then I was thinking, if she thought I was like a decent human being, like if she thought I was like, just somewhat of a decent person, would she have just answered, oh, I live in this community, or I live over here, or I live by that school? But she was like, just around. And she was like super nervous. And I was like, it's all good. And, yeah, so we chatted and, it was just like, whatever. And then sure enough, time goes by and I found out exactly where she lived. I found out, not that I was like looking for her or anything, but like I found out. And so then I had this thought like, oh, I'm just going to do this prank. And so like the prank was I'm going to stand outside her house in like a all black costume, with the sign that says, Sarah, I know where you live. And so I started doing that, just random times. And I don't think she liked it. I think she got a little scared, because the police showed up and they questioned me. And I was just like, well, yeah, it was a joke, it was just like, it was like a joke, and they were like, yeah, that's not a joke, that's illegal. And they gave me a warning, and that was pretty much it. But the moral of that story is, like, just because you see somebody that you know in public doesn't mean it's a good idea to say, oh, hey, I remember you. I've seen her a couple different times since then, and I just ignore her. Like, I don't even, like, recognize her as a human. No, I'm just kidding. Like, if we're in the same aisle, I actually act like she's not there, and I just, like, roll her over with my cart. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. Why would I do that? But I've done that before, where it's like, hey, I've seen you before. I remember one time I was in Vegas, and I saw this guy that I saw on TV. I think it was from one of those reality TV shows. What was it called? Real World, right? In MTV. And I'm like driving. I lived in Vegas, and pardon me. And I was like, hey, what's up, man? I've seen you. Where'd I see you before? He's like, on the TV. I'm like, yeah, on the TV. And then it was the Real World. And so, yeah, he was on one of the Real World shows. Was it? It might have been the Vegas one. Yeah, and there was another one, but it was another person that I saw too. It's just like, man, it's like, when are you going to learn, man? Like, I'm talking to myself. It's like, when are you going to learn? Just don't say anything. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, how many times has somebody went up to them and been like, oh, I've seen you before? Millions. It's kind of like me. My name is Charles, and I hear people say, Charles in charge. Charles in charge. And, man, I've been hearing that since 1985. You know what I mean? Like, and it can get a little annoying. There's one other thing I don't like is I don't like when all of a sudden, like, I'm at work and people are like, hey, can I call you like Chuck? And it's like, nah, I'm good. Like, my name's Charles. Like, unless we're like friends, you know what I mean? Or like buddies, like, nah, you can't. And then people start coming up with like these crazy nicknames for Charles. Like, someone said Chaz, someone said Chazzer. I'm like, nah, I'm good. And then one other guy, his name was William, and he's like, I hate when people call me Bill. And so, so then you just like do it anyways, and that's like pretty much what's up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bruh. It's like, yeah, bruh. What you talking about, bruh? All right, I think it's about time to wrap this up. I hope you're doing well. I hope you have a great weekend, a great day, and a great morning, and a great night whenever you're listening to this. And I appreciate you. I'm out of here.